First presentation. I would like to present today on the topic of a case study for verification of E equal mc square for calculation of food shortage. Um, First of all, I'd like to express the information that maybe some of audience know the term name is Earth Overshot Day. So it means in Earth we have food sources, but in recent years it will depleted. So this organization makes every year how much we have provide food for the people. So in 2019 they declared as 4th August is the day which our food sources are depleted. So I mentioned in the famous physics name is Einstein. So he declared years ago, from many years ago, if bees have vanished, so humanity has 4 years left. I would like to express this just making some calculations in my presentation. So I did some calculations with his quote to confirm if 4th August is the real Earth overshot day. So I checked first Ecological Footprint Atlas. So they defined Earth's biocapacity. So we have nutrients, foods from agricultural production. So it means in Earth we have limited natural resources. As previous professor mentioned before, so it means how we transfer natural resources to ecological assets to make it a more productivity way. So it means human demands in Earth from the time begin. There were lots of land use changes, so it results some depletion, such as deforestation and overfishing. So people after the industrial revolution, they use fossil fuels much more. So there were lots of emissions after using fossil fuel, and some waste and some pollution. So the problems were getting extended. So we need some modification. And also some organisms in the nature did some movement. After the problems were become such as environmental impacts, so there were some climate change up to now. So we can see some climate change in our country, also in the global case. So another important title is land degradation and loss of biodiversity and pollution. So they affect each other also. There are lots of impact points. So in our society, Also developing countries, they did some regulations to solve these problems. For instance, famine, water shortages, and competition over resources. So I would like to express the relationship between natural biocapacity of the food and some calculations why we uh, why we must think about our resources. So I did explanation on Stefan Boltzmann radiation law, Doppler effect, and Stefan Boltzmann distribution law, and also E equal mc square. So it defines as rest energy in the world. So I just used Earth overshot day platform informations. So they declares as 1.3 billion ton foods produced in the worldwide in 2017. So I calculated this mass to energy as 21.8 kilojoule per gram. So the overall energy, if we calculate, we have 28.34 joule. So it means after exposing radiation from the sun, the Earth has 28.30 billion joule energy. So it must be converted to people consuming energy, such as carbohydrate. So ants and bees have a role to convert sun energy to food. So if we can calculate the yearly energy, how much converted, so you can see 28.34. So it is the basic physics phenomenon that the ideal body can absorb all the energy. So we can say it is black body, and the amount of energy, how much energy a black body emits, we can calculate by the equation one, called as Stefan Boltzmann radiation law. Here you can see in the on the screen. So in this equation, E is the amount of energy, how much energy emitted from the surface. A means the area of the surface, and T is the surface temperature, and here gamma is Stefan Boltzmann constant. So we can calculate the converting energy from the sun, coming from the sun, by bees and ants. These are the animals. So according to this equation, E is equal the converting energy from the animals. So if we can divide E with the Stefan Boltzmann constant, we have approximately 5 billion energy. So if we can divide, there are some following calculations on this equation. So I just want to make the bold color to present very well. So we can calculate the time in this equation with, as you can see, 2.2 approximately hours. So if we can if you can decide how much energy comes from the sun, so it is the time is very low, as you can see. So we can convert it to velocity, the time. So we can say the energy will be used approximately 28.34 million joule. In the following section, I used a Doppler effect of the bees. So if we see, if you can decide how much energy for one bees used to convert energy comes from sun to produce some carbohydrate. So we can use this equation to find how much energy converting for one animals. So I calculated, as you can see in the result on the left side in the presentation. So this energy, you can see the negative energy. So why this is the negative energy means? So it is mentioned in the Doppler. This scientist, he told around 200 years ago, if one animal use this energy, uh, if the animals make some work, some kind of energy loss. So how much energy loss after converting energy, we can calculate with this equation called as Doppler effect. There are no one animals converting this energy in the world. Also, bats can convert energy because it is known as pollinators. As you know, in Wuhan, in China, bats, the COVID virus came from bats. So it is very important animals for our earth, for our food. So it is very important animals also. Other animals is ants, also called as termites. It can decompose the soil, and they can adjust the biochemical cycles. Termites are also essential parts in the world because termites can degrade, separate cellulose. So also they can transport seeds, and also ants can turn up more soil. So they can dig tunnels, and because after digging tunnels, they can circulate air through the dirt and reuse the supplements for itself. Also, they can produce synthetic manures and the requirement for water system. So, as I mentioned before, honeybees also very important because of annihilation of the plants. So not only they can pollinate, but also they can annihilate both soil and plants. Other animals called as winged animals, so they can live in natural parts, including woodland. So they can decay the woodland. Also supplement reusing, a biosign of environment well-being. Also they can make plant fertilization and seed dispersal. Some kind of winged animals can turn up soil with their paws. So other animals, K animals, are insect, subterranean insect, termite, bat, and frog species can pollinate plants. Until now, there are lots of literature, lots of study mentioned about to investigated how ecological networks correlates with biotic function grades with a climatic niche broadness and vulnerability to climate change. So food sources is directly related to this kind of key animals because human beings are indirectly in relationship with other living species in nature. So after this thing, uh, I can make a broad attention about these 5K pollinators because they are main supporters of terrestrial biodiversity. Because climate change, widespread use of pesticides, habitat loss and deterioration seriously threaten the integrity of these interactions in a negative way. So they can make trade on 5K pollinators uh, to make to reduce their population. Uh, Now, the work in this area is often divided into separate disciplines and varies due to the analytical approaches in most of studies. The vitality of the results on a wide range of scales and the use of specific methods instead of general scientific hypotheses. Uh, on the other hand, biological diversity and the dynamics on their dependence, also the specific functional groups on case species are very important. Aforementioned about the food depletion occurs. After I calculated the energy, so I change the formulation as Stefan Boltzmann distribution law to calculate how much population of humans need the rest of energy. So on the screen you can see the calculation results. So I just want to make detailed result, detailed presentation. So on the right side, you can see the amount of world population, how much decrease. So after that, I use the famous equation of Einstein. This is the rest of energy, how much energy converted, and how much carbohydrate we have, and how much energy used for one human. So in this expression, you can see the 1 day joule energy, how much human have. So after calculation, I found 1,003 12.64 day to survive for the human in the world. So obtained. It was obtained nearly 4 years. So I just confirmed the Earth overshot day platform information. to make uh, give importance on the 5K pollinators, why we must protect them. After calculation and confirmation of the energy in the Einstein code, as I mentioned in the first slide, so I can conclude that for nutrients in the world for human population are mainly depending on ants, bats, bees, termites, and also birds. So we have to care about these five K pollinators. And other alternative way is we can use renewable energy sources. So because as you know, the global climate is very deteriorating. So we have to take care about the microbial organisms. So we have to make some practical measures to protect 5K living things. So as you can see, we have not so much time if 1K living things are missing. Thank you for listening, and thank you for giving me this opportunity.